Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Do you remember when Jurassic Park was actually good? There was cool, well thought out sequences. The plot was straightforward, yet had some depth to it. There was plenty of suspense. The movies actually kind of made sense, like the motivations and everything. And now, as we're on the fourth sequel of the reboot series of Jurassic Park, a book that came out in the 90s, I sat back and asked myself something. Where are all the other dinosaur movies? I mean, look at superheroes. You've got Marvel versus DC. You've got The Boys. You've got X-Men. You've got Invincible. I mean, I could tell you 50 of my favorite superheroes, and you can name 100 more just from Marvel or just from DC. I mean, look at the Avengers. Avengers Doomsday is going to be the 39th MCU movie. 39. Look at Superman. There's a new Superman movie coming out. It's going to be like the 10th Superman movie. Why are there only like 7 dinosaur movies? I guess you could name a couple B-movie dinosaur movies like Journey to the Center of the Earth or Journey to the Center of the Earth 2 or the third installment of Journey to the Center of the Earth, which actually was canceled for some reason. I guess Kong Skull Island had dinosaurs in it. But let's actually take a step back. Instead of asking where are they, let's ask why are they, okay? Let's look at superhero movies. Superhero movies work well as really cool action movies, but they're also a great conduit for social commentary. The Boys and Invincible are obvious examples, but also I could ask you this. Hey, who's your favorite superhero? Oh, thanks for asking. I like Superman. Here's what I'd do with unlimited power. Oh, thanks for asking. I like Batman. Here's what I'd do with unlimited money. Oh, thanks for asking. I like Cyborg. Here's what I would do if I could control technology. Oh, mine's Beast Boy or Mystique. Here's what I could do if I could shapeshift. Here's this. Here's what I could do if I had teleportation abilities. If I could do this. If I could do that. Superheroes represent a lot of aspects of society. Batman? I feel like every man can kind of relate to Batman. Gotham City's inspirations are New York and Chicago. And let's be honest, probably Atlanta. Now, Jurassic Park falls under the list of cool action movies, but in the end, there's not much you can really relate to except for the protagonists running for their lives. I did a quick summary of all the plots of Jurassic Park 1, 2, 3, and Jurassic World 1, 2, and 3. I mean, all of these are good, maybe except Jurassic World 3, and plenty entertaining, but there's only so much you can do with the same giant monster before it's all been done before. Okay, wait. Giant monster? Let's back that up. Okay, instead of asking where are the other dinosaur movies, what about the other giant monster movies? The first topic that comes to my head is Godzilla. There are many parallels between Godzilla and Jurassic Park, right? It's a giant man-made beast like Jurassic Park that really wreaks havoc on some people sometimes. Let's ask ourselves, how has Godzilla managed to stay relevant from 1954 to now? That's at least 70 years. Simple. It's the reason all monsters stay relevant or die off. Godzilla is relevant because it says something about a part of society. Namely, nuclear destruction. Let's keep that formula for later. And I want to give warning, serious topics ahead. From the 1950s to now, Godzilla has remained relevant because it warns of the dangers of nuclear power. With Godzilla being a literal embodiment or personification of nuclear destruction, I'm sure you can't imagine what happened before the 1950s that would make Japan want to warn about the dangers of nuclear destruction. The tragedies of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were fresh wounds. In that time period, this could not have been more relevant. Now, the first thing I thought of when I thought Godzilla was the MonsterVerse, which has been recently pumping out some pretty good movies. But actually, let's take a step back from that and look at Japanese Godzilla. Godzilla Minus One was created and directed in Japan. And in that movie, they say the United States will not come to help.
我が国は国民を守るべき自前の軍隊を有しておりません。GHQ 主導による軍事行動は大陸のソ連軍を刺激する恐れが高く不可能と判断されました。
In real life, it's actually the United States' fault that that even happened. It's unknown what would have taken Japan to surrender in World War II. Now, due to ideas like kamikaze, last man standing, no surrender, a lot of people say that extreme forces were necessary to make Japan surrender. Now, let's ask ourselves a really, really big question. Does this warrant completely destroying two cities, but without the knowledge of nuclear fallout brought about by those two bombs? Would we be alive today if we hadn't known the Cold War was going to be the Cold War? Oh my goodness! If we hadn't known the Cold War, bro, I don't even know what I was trying to say. If the full destructive power of those two bombs had not been shown to the world, just imagine what would have happened. Alright, full disclaimer. Am I condoning the bombing and the mass murder of thousands, if not millions of people? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I recognize that I am talking about one of the greatest tragedies in human history. Arguably the greatest tragedy if we include World War II, and if you think World War II was a continuation of World War I. So if you're talking about the world wars, then absolutely not. And if you want to talk about it too, be civil, be courteous, please. You know the stories where this officer or that lieutenant or this guy, whatever, saw on one of his devices that missiles had been launched and he needed to retaliate, but for some reason or another he said no. On the off chance that the war has not started, this will start the war, and I'm not doing that. The only reason we are alive right now is because one dude didn't press the launch button. This happened multiple times. Without the knowledge of what happened in those two cities and how the utter destructive power that lasts generations, would we even be alive today? And did the image of Godzilla bring about more awareness about nuclear destruction? Are we alive because of Godzilla? We may never know, but honestly, probably not. I feel like the imminent, lingering threat of total annihilation really dwarfs some dude in a weird dinosaur costume. However, for the older movies that were more serious, it did bring forth these issues in its movies. Let's go back to the formula. Blank is relevant because it says something about blank. The more you are able to subtly stick to this formula and adapt your monsters to change and scare your ever-changing society, the more your monster will stay relevant. It's the reason vampires have gone to scary dudes that sleep in coffins in Romania, to strange love triangles, to an animated movie or three. The art of subtlety. You can't throw your message in your audience's face. It loses art. It loses creativity. And the audience will see what you are doing and they will not like it. But if you're too subtle, the audience might miss it. I feel like this really sums up most modern art pieces, because all people see when they see modern art is just random things on a canvas. Like, they don't think, oh, that's cool. They think, a 2-year-old could have made this. A 3-year-old could have made this. But there is that 1%. Sometimes the right collection of strokes and colors tickles your brain in just the right spot. Other times, it's just last-minute hotel decor. This may be the case with Jurassic World 1. Someone else made a really good video on this, and it actually partially inspired me, so be sure to check it out. There comes a point where you must decide if your monster is just a generic unknown monster that the audience doesn't really know and you don't really know the full power of, or if you're going to define yourself and define your monster with commentary about some sort of life situation and give your monster some tangible weaknesses and strengths that reflect society. However, if you add commentary, you cannot make this red versus blue. You will lose more than half of your audience. What I want to hear is something new. I don't want to hear the same old rhetoric being thrown at me day in, day out by the news, by the government. And yes, I'm looking at you, Tron Aries. I'll link that video when I post it. I hate it when people just put generic politics, generic red, generic blue in their movies, and they don't give it a second thought. That's why I'm here in the movie theater, to get away from all of that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now let's talk about the book. Jurassic Park was written by American author Michael Crichton and released in October 1990. One of the main themes is how the greed of one can lead to the death of many, with another theme being that humanity cannot control nature, which is a bit different from Godzilla, I know. Actually, kind of the exact opposite of Godzilla. In the book, the dinosaurs are assets, owned and copyrighted by one person, John Hammond. The problems with the park and the dinosaurs are bugs to be fixed, and not that life will do anything to survive. In the movie, Jeff Goldblum's character Ian Malcolm is a chaos theorist. This is the same in the book. However, the chaos theory is used a lot more to warn that trying to predict nature and trying to predict Jurassic Park is impossible. He's right. The power grid fails, which is due to humanity's nature, but the female dinosaurs have already changed to lay eggs and reproduce. Jurassic Park failed due to humanity's stupidity, which were two relatively simple slip-ups with one driving force: greed. The greed to make an entertainment empire, regardless of safety, and the greed to steal dinosaur DNA, both of which will stop at nothing short of death until their pockets are full.
Don't get cheap on me, Dodson.
In the book, the ambitions of John Hammond lead to his own death, eaten by his own creations, just like many others. And they almost lead to the death of his grandchildren. In the book, John Hammond is a sociopathic, greed-driven businessman, and he does not care about the lives of his grandchildren. The movie, however, negates this somewhat by making John Hammond a bit more friendly, if valuing human life is considered more friendly, and not just bare minimum. And I'm pretty sure in Jurassic World 2, he gets killed due to greed. So, the themes are still there in the movies. In the movie, the sub-theme is now the main theme. Life finds a way, but a bit dulled down.
Life, finds a way.
The dinosaurs are treated with awe. Look at the grandeur of nature, as tamed by mankind. John Hammond is no longer a greedy businessman willing to sacrifice his own grandchildren. But he's simply more of a naive entrepreneur. In both the movie and the book, there is still a bigger message being communicated. The dinosaurs are not simply dinosaurs. They're story points to illustrate societal commentary. In Jurassic World 1, one of the main characters says,
"Let's be honest. No one's impressed by a dinosaur anymore. 20 years ago, de-extinction was right up there with magic. These days, kids look at a stegosaurus like an elephant from the city zoo. That doesn't mean asset development is falling behind. Our DNA excavators discover new species every year. But consumers want them bigger, louder, more teeth. The good news? Our advances in gene splicing have opened up a whole new frontier."
The problem with Jurassic World is that it does not simply tell you if it has a deeper message or if it has one at all. If so, it was way too subtle. But maybe not.
Verizon Wireless presents the Indominus Rex.
Oh, that is so terrible.
if there was a theme, I feel like it's completely lost by the third movie. We don't care that CEO guy bad, because we've seen it. Been there, done that. We need a movie with direction, visual art, musical art, creative storytelling, all coming together to tell us something we've never heard, in a way we've never seen. Jurassic World Rebirth brings us back to the location of Jurassic Park 1. We have now come full circle. Original island, original monsters, new story, new message. What'll it say? Who will take us there?
Don't forget why we built this place, Claire. Jurassic World exists to remind us how very small we are, how new. You can't put a price on that. Now, please, we are flying.
Now, I am fully aware that it's not going to be original monsters, but I feel like they're going to have to explain that too. Or at least they should. Alright, let's talk about the director Gareth Edwards. His career in movies started with, you know, directing a few episodes here and there. Documentary, he's done some VFX work, a couple cameos. He's only really got 4 movies on the old director resume. Monsters, which is a smaller film, written, directed, and brought to life by himself. You probably haven't heard this next one, Godzilla. It's the start of the MonsterVerse, if you've ever seen it. This next one's pretty small too, Star Wars Rogue One. I mean, that movie was alright. I don't know if anyone really even watched it. He directed a small movie called The Creator, which took a small team of filmmakers around the world to just make something that looked like it had a huge budget. And they used all their resources that they could. They filmed on location and did crazy amounts of work after the fact. Post-production, CGI, the works. To just make a really decent looking movie. Jurassic Park, we're all talking about. That's why you're here. And wait a minute. Run that back. Godzilla? The start of the MonsterVerse? This is huge. This could be good. This could be great. He's worked with Godzilla before. The Godzilla that started it all. He's walked with it, talked with it, and brought it to life. He's experienced with scale and VFX. This could be just what we need. But here's another question. Is it time for postmodernism? The ironic era? I imagine a baseball field, with the first foul on the left being too ironic or too self-aware. The foul on the right is fan service. But just the right amount of each is right in the middle, right? You can have home runs, you can fall short, right? It just depends on what your movie is and what you're trying to do. But be careful. Jurassic World 1, 2, and 3. 3 strikes and you're out. It may be better to quit while you're ahead. Here comes the pitch. The Matrix 4. I felt like it was too self-aware. I mean, Matrix 1, 2, and 3 kind of left us on an open-ended note. Is Neo dead? And now Matrix 4 is back. A new cast, but they're the same, but they're different, but they're the same. Red pill, blue pill. Bro, it's been done. And you got, Matrix the video game. Matrix inside the Matrix. How many matrices are there? We've got... Just leave it as is. What is this? How I Met Your Mother, and then, happy ending, happy ending. The whole point of the Matrix, I felt, was that it really wasn't supposed to be a happy ending. It all comes full circle. It's a wheel, you know? Alright, let's look at things that are good. They made it on the field. Here comes the pitch. Everything, everywhere, all at once. It was almost a foul in the too self-aware category, but also I think it's almost a home run. When the movie was over, I sat back in my chair and I just thought about it for 10-15 minutes. Alright, another great movie I wanted to add came out a while ago was The Incredibles 1. There's a scene
You sly dog! You got me monologuing!
I feel like that's a perfect reference to other movies where the villain just yaps away and tells them their whole plan. Then they stop it without actually saying that. Now, here comes the pitch. Ooh, foul in the fan service. Jurassic World 3. What are we doing? Alan's back with love interest number 1. They left things a bit open-ended in Jurassic Park 3, but I feel like they just brought him back so cast number 1 could meet cast number 2. Oh, Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Yippee! And how come everything always ends up in the Jurassic World universe as like a good ending? You know what I mean? They got the T-Rex fighting the new bad guy from Jurassic World 1. Remember Jurassic Park? When the T-Rex was like a really big threat? If we say the T-Rex represents Jurassic Park, and the Endodontous Rex, if that's how you say it, represents Jurassic World, are we saying we have to use Jurassic Park to fight Jurassic World? We have to use the old to fight the new? Or are we saying the old leads into the new, but if the new gets out of control, we fall back on the old? Or am I looking too far into this? I don't know. I'm just a fan trying to make a video on YouTube. Also, think about this. Alan has seen these dinosaurs so many times, and he's always back. I mean, I like his character, but it could have been anyone else in Jurassic World 3. It could have been anyone else. What other movies do you think would end up on the diamond of self-awareness? Let me know down in the comments. Jurassic World 1, you're up to bat. Alright, Jurassic World 1 isn't even a bad movie. Like, stereotypical macho car guy meets stereotypical manager girl boss. And they don't like each other, yet work well when paired. You call it weird, I call it high school. We all had that real southern guy and the feminist girl that dated for some reason. One thing I did like, though, that even if he's a stereotypical guy, the smartness aspect gets challenged and heightened when the monster of death gets released right behind him. We see him use his brain to survive when most couldn't. The car fluids to mask his spell was honestly a beautiful touch that I think would be great to mask your spell in a real situation like that. Even though in the end, Owen is a static character, I think it was meant to be like that. I think it shows how we should all use our brain about these things, which includes thinking about the future instead of just the now. What I think is weird is that the Raptors had more of a character arc than Owen did. Let's look at the names of the Raptors.
What are their names?
Well, you got Charlie, it's Echo, here is Delta, and this one's called Blue. She's the beta.
Rearrange that. Blue, B, Charlie, C, Delta, D, Echo, E. If we're going with typical Air Force alphabet naming schemes, B should be Bravo. But I think that would be too obvious. Maybe it shows Owen as the alpha, or
Who's the alpha?
You're looking at him, kid.
alpha needed. Apply here. Maybe since it doesn't follow the typical naming scheme, it shows that Blue was maybe meant to step up and become the alpha all along. Did the Raptors have a character arc? I did find the relationship bits a bit cheesy.
So what do we do now?
Probably stick together. For survival.
But honestly, overall W movie. It was an enjoyable watch. There were some fan service callbacks here and there, but it was not trying to be the first Jurassic Park. In Jurassic World, there are themes of human insight and greed still, but they play out in different ways than the first trilogy. The leaps in computer technology allow for more sophisticated dinosaur scenes, where not everything has to be super thought out CGI or practical VFX, although it is always great when we have both of those. But it allows for more creative freedom. If used right, in the hands of an experienced director, these will be powerful tools. It looks like, in the terms of characters, Jurassic World 4 is gonna be all new. Maybe we'll get a Star Wars type Jurassic Park with 3 trilogies, originals, the sequels, and the other sequels. Now, the first movie was not meant to be a big series. We're talking about Jurassic Park here, by the way. But due to money, they made more. Jurassic Park author Michael Crichton compared the power of genetic splicing to the power of the atom. The effects would be so large and catastrophic that it would be unpredictable. Like Pandora's Box. I'm a sucker for movies with cool music, cool sound effects, and especially cool visuals. I feel like everyone is. But I do have to admit that doing the same or a similar thing every single time isn't going to work. Sometimes you can't use the same formula with the same numbers and get the same outcome. The formulas change. Here's an example. If you asked an AI image creator model, say ChatGPT, to create an image using every single other image created since, say, 2010, and then asked it to make another image right after that, it would produce a different image. Not only have other images come out between asking the first time, then asking the second, but your own image came out. And if your first image changed the game, the second image needs to account for that. With the same formula, instead of revolutionizing, you're copying. It's been done. People need something new. The formula that was new yesterday is outdated today. The same formula is missing a crucial piece. That's why stories that were written as series tend to do better as series, while stories written as standalone but become series because of money tend to fall off. Jurassic Park. Instead of writing to write, to create something cool and interesting, you're writing to capitalize off of last time's success, to extend the time in the hot seat, and not just get there again.
I love Jurassic Park. I think the first movie is a cinematic masterpiece. And Steven Spielberg is 100% the reason I ever wanted to be a film director. So this opportunity is like a dream to me.
I will say Jurassic World 1 actually was pretty good because it was trying to do its own thing. If you look, they clearly put some work into having rewatch details you could take home and think about at night. So here's to hope they do it again. Here's to hope they don't just make another hollow fan service movie. Thank you.